On today's episode of Jamie Cars, I got throttled again. Hello, YouTube. It's been a while. I'm back today in the garage because it's freaking cold outside. It's 35 degrees. Last night was 6. It's supposed to be down to 4 tomorrow on Saturday. Sunday, I think, warms up to 9 as a high temperature. Monday, back to 4. It's the Arctic whatever apocalypse is coming in. But today, I'm going to work on the car in here because I'm pretty sure the next 3 days is going to be really freaking cold in here. I got a space heater down there. Today, Ragnar, the V70 2.4 turbo needs a new throttle body, and I got just the price. All right, YouTube, bear with me just a minute, because 2023 has been the year of the throttle body for the V70. This is a 2002 Volvo V70 2.4 turbo. It's a P2. Yeah, I call it Ragnar. It's my favorite little car. I made some notes because the throttle body's been throwing some codes all year long. Started 1 year ago. January 14th and 15th of 2023, I got a code out of nowhere. Never had this code ever. P2131, throttle, pedal position sensor, switch F, circuit performance, whatever, high or low. I think it happened twice, on the 14th and the 15th, back-to-back days, maybe again on the 19th, something like that. Pulled out my OBD reader. This car's throwing codes all the time. Old car, 200, I have made some notes, 255,000 miles on the 2002 Volvo V70. I've owned this for about 8.5 years, and of those, I've put almost 109,000 miles on this car. To my knowledge, the throttle body is OEM. I did see it was cleaned before I owned it in like November of 2014. I bought it in July of 2015. So I've never done anything to the throttle body, except we'll get to that. But this is my Ragnar, the fun Volvo. I call it the baby turbo. It's just the fun Volvo. Anyway, real quick, here's the code history. The OBD2 reader is always in there. So when it throws a code, I plug it in, just a little simple one in the OBD2 port, check the codes, see what they are, nothing big, see if they clear. They clear, I drive home, we're good. So the P2131 was thrown 2 days back to back in really cold weather in January of 2023, 1 year ago now. And then in September, it threw a P0221, throttle pedal position sensor, switch B, again, circuit performance. And with that, a P0068 MAP, the manifold air pressure, and slash MAF, mass airflow sensor, throttle position correlation. Cleared. September 2003, no problem, cleared, never did it again. And then November hit, early November, it did it again. And it did it while I was on I-25 driving 65 miles an hour, went into limp mode, no acceleration. Literally while I was driving, reached in the glove box, pulled out the OBD2, pulled it, plugged it in, read the code, cleared the code, whoom, took off, drove right down the highway at 65 miles an hour. So again, through the P0221 and the P0068 in September, and again in November of last year in 2023. And then in early November of 2023, there was an earlier video I posted called Throttle Crud, if I remember correctly. I pulled the throttle body on this car and just cleaned it. It just had crud around the edges, it was kind of carboned up. Not really bad, not as bad as the XC70, not even close, that I did in the subsequent video when it was throwing some codes. That's just recently posted. There's a series of 3 videos in a row on the XC70. But this one wasn't that bad. I cleaned it and never threw any codes. And then suddenly, it started driving kind of funny. You'd feel weird hesitations and accelerations, like it'd start to accelerate and then kind of back off of it a little bit and kick in. My daughter experienced driving home on the highway, got off for the exit ramp for our neighborhood, for our town, and it suddenly couldn't find its idle. It did that to me the other day. It threw, let's see here, a week ago, it threw 3 codes at me. P0221, which it had before, throttle pedal position sensor switch B. It threw the P0068, the MAP, MAF throttle position correlation, which we've seen before, and it threw this one, P0121, throttle pedal position sensor switch A. So yeah, we've had a switch A, a switch B at the same time with the MAP, MAF correlations, and then we also had that switch F a year ago. So my thought on this, these things, the P2 throttle bodies are known to go bad. They wear out on the sensor of knowing where it's at. It just wears its sensitivity for the electronic sensor. Zomatics has a replacement where they rebuild them to make it a completely digital sensor. They redo the sensor. But I actually went online and was just kind of pricing them out. And I found they were on sale from FCP Euro, and I couldn't pass that up. The pricing was so good. The throttle body, $266 for the Bosch unit. Now, obviously, it's not stamped Volvo, but that unit that's in their OEM stamped Volvo is a Bosch unit. It's identical. It's this one. And FCP Euro, lifetime warranty. On sale for $266. Also on sale, mass airflow sensor. Hardest part of that is going to be getting it out of the intake hose that goes to the turbo. That's really difficult to do. So yeah, I went ahead and got one of these. I think this was $50. I got 2 brand new throttle body spacers. I need 2 because remember when I cleaned it in the throttle crud video, I have the phenolic spacer in there. So there's a gasket on the top that goes against the manifold and a gasket on the bottom that goes against the throttle body. So I need 2. So I got 2 brand new ones of those. On back order, it'll take a couple weeks to get here. They also had on sale a, what's it called? The MAP, the manifold air pressure sensor. They had that, but it takes a couple weeks to get here. It's an OEM part, or excuse me, it's an aftermarket. I think it's the OE manufacturer, but it's not brand of Volvo. They had that on sale as well, but it's not available for 2 weeks. So I got these here today so I can take care of this. Gonna do it tonight before this cold sets in, this Arctic blast, because I don't want to be out here in the garage tomorrow. Actually, right now, I'm too cold. I need to go in the house and get more clothes. I'll be right back and we'll dive. All right, YouTube, just gonna give you a quick lay of the land. The easiest one to spot for sure. Here's the airbox on the V70. There's my mass airflow sensor on the inlet tube down to the turbo. Easy to get off of here. Not so easy to disconnect from this tube. It's been connected on there forever. Yeah, that's gonna be fun, but we'll try that later. This is gonna come off. We're gonna get this air inlet tube that goes into the bottom of the air filter. We're going to pull out, once again, this air shroud on the fan shroud. It really creates a lot of extra space to get in here. Right where my finger's at, I am just touching the throttle body. It's upside down on the 5-port, because we have 5 cylinders. On this manifold, intake manifold right here, it's sitting underneath there, just below here. And then on the part we're waiting on to come in, it is, I'm going to run my finger down here. There it is. That's the manifold air pressure MAP sensor. So I have a new one of those coming. I don't think it's bad. I think it's the throttle body, but when the MAP and the MAF are both on sale at the same time that throttle body was only $266. They're sitting right over there. I got them all. We're going to put them in and we're going to fix this. Supposedly, all I need on the throttle body does not need to be reprogrammed by the dealer. All that has to happen is I have my laptop over there with the Vita software on it, charging up with the Mongoose cable, not the Volvo Dice, but just the Mongoose cable working on Vita. I can get into the advanced section of Vita and calibrate that throttle body. So we will do that and see if it works. We will get that throttle body working, and then we'll tackle the mass airflow sensor replacement once we have that done. But that's our #1 priority. I don't want to do 2 at the same time. We're just going to deal with that one first. Quick update. So just to make this easier, leaving all this intact, I just pulled out the little air hose that connects into the bottom of the airbox. And I took off the boost bazooka, just laid it up there. Super easy. 2 hose clamps come off and 2 little Torx wrenches. Now we can totally see right where my finger's at, the old throttle body. Just need to pop a electrical connector right here by my finger. Got these cables out of the way, these hoses, and I'll be able to pull this fan shroud straight up. It's just got 2 10mm bolts, one on each side on the top. All right, fan shroud came out, piece of cake. Just make sure you get down in there in this cable with the little, you just got to make sure it gets out of the grooves. That's what held me up last time. Just had to reach down in there and pop it out of a little thing that runs up there in the bottom there, right where my finger's pointing. Just got to pull it out of that little space, and that thing came straight out. It was so much easier this time. I have the air inlet tube coming out of the intercooler completely disconnected, but I can't get it out unless I remove the box. So the air filter box is coming out. All right, YouTube, temperature's holding steady at 34 degrees outside, and I'm standing next to a space heater, so it's not that bad. Air box is out. Still got the mass airflow on there. We're gonna leave that till I get everything running and get this, get the new throttle body to calibrate. But anyway, disconnected the intake hose coming out of the intercooler. Has a temperature sensor, a pressure sensor, and an air line that was connected to it, and it's just 2 hose clamps. So it's pretty simple. Pulled that out of the way so it gives me more space. Disconnected down here. This is the cable that goes for the throttle body itself, and now I'm sitting here with the throttle body and 4 10mm bolts that are hard to get to, but you can see the throttle body sitting there, and if I scale back, there's the new one in the same orientation. So there's 4 bolts coming upside down and backwards. Just it's upside down looking at it. On the 4 corners of the throttle body, they are 10mm. They're not super tight. They're easy to get off. It's just hard to find them in the dark, upside down and backwards, or blind, not in the dark, just upside down and blind because they're underneath this manifold. So that's all we got. We'll keep moving here and get these off. YouTube, quick reminder, batteries on these P2s, the special, I don't know about the S60, but the V70, it's in the trunk. It's in the boot. So you come back here and you disconnect the negative terminal. There's no more electrical power going through the car. You don't want to get shocked because underneath that, over by that throttle body, is the starter with some leads on it. So you do not want to be messing with the electricity. Also, you're dealing with some electronics, so disconnect stuff. All right, YouTube, there it is. There's the one of the old gaskets, the phenolic spacer. I'll pop that off and one more gasket underneath it, but it's pretty clean inside. If you remember back to what it looked like on the Throttle Crud video, this is way better. Here's the brand new one. Here are the 3. Remember, these are longer screws. IPD sends these with the phenolic spacer. You can see because it's a little bit thicker. Just helps keep the heat from damaging these units. And I only have 3, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess where the 4th one's at? Yeah, that's right. I dropped it, and I heard it roll back on the splash shield that I put in there. So I'm going to swing a magnet in there, see if I can find it, fish it out. Hopefully I don't have to jack this thing up in the air and pull that splash pan off again to get my 1 bolt. And just like that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws for the throttle body. Had to jack it up just a little bit, pop the front connector on there. I was able to slide in the little maneuverable magnet, pull that screw out. I'm going to leave it up because I think it gives, I'm going to leave it up in the air. It's barely off the ground. But it just gives me a little bit better angle to get in there, makes it easier, it's easier on my back. And we're going to put it back in. This is the hard part, getting it all put back together and then finding those bolt holes blind from the bottom. 4 of them. So, yeah, this is the fun part. We're going to try a new thing on the Jamie Cars channel. I'm going to try to do it live. We'll speed this up. This is the comedy gold part where you just get to laugh at me struggling for, I don't know how long this is going to take, but we'll definitely speed it up. We'll give it a shot. The hardest part is getting this stack of 2 gaskets and the spacer lined up with the holes, finding the holes upside down from blind under the bottom, and you just kind of reference, you can see, you can feel right here, if you just reach in, you can feel where the big nub is on the manifold underneath the R on this one. You can just see where it's got to sit, and you got to find the first 2 on the front. Once you find 2 of them, once you find 1 of them, you get everything positioned. Once you find 2 of them, you're pretty much good. But the hard part is getting them to start. So enjoy. This will be comedy gold. right, YouTube, that only took about 13 minutes. I think I'm getting better at this. I think last time it took me maybe 2 to 3 times that. So I'm going to drop this camera down in here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see it. Sorry for making you dizzy. Let's see if I can find the flashlight. We'll light it up. All right. So you get in here. This is about where I can put my head. And I can just see the shape and the proportions of the throttle body behind this hydraulic hose. Let's get over here. There it is. It's right here. I'm tapping it. Tap, 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 tap. So you can see there's four screws. One, you can see the shaft going up right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 4 corners. So you can kind of get the proportions of it. Just kind of do it blind. I always seem to bump the little key on the ratchet. And since it's upside down and backwards, I gotta pay attention because suddenly I'm unscrewing instead of screwing. So that kind of takes a little bit getting used to upside down and backwards, but it is in there. So now, final assembly is just the repeat, or it's the reverse of disassembly. So I got to torque this thing up. I got to find some torque settings. We'll get that put together. We'll get this put back together. I'm not going to show you all the steps because you can go watch the cross-country video for that. Maybe I showed it on the throttle crud when I cleaned out the old one. So we're going to get this back together quickly and we'll see if we can calibrate it. YouTube, we're going back together. Inlet tube is in. It's connected. It's tightened down on a little hose clamp there from the intercooler. Coming back in. We got a vacuum line here hooked in. It's tightened down. We got the MAP, the manifold air pressure sensor connector. It is connected. Right where my finger's at, you can just barely see it. See, get some light in there. Ooh, there it goes. The gray one right there. That is the air temperature sensor, I believe. We have the electrical connections for the brand new throttle body. It is tightened down. Everything's connected. There's another hose clamp. I don't know if you can see it. Just barely behind that loom is the hose clamp bolt. So that is connected. All I got to do now is drop back in our fan shroud, connect some cables, and we'll fire this bad boy up and see if we can calibrate that new throttle body. All right, YouTube, quick update. Boost bazooka is back on. I got it all tightened down. 2 screws. It's all tightened on the hose clamps front and rear. Lost that one. Had to go digging it out and find it back there. Everything's connected on the hose, on the fan shroud. All the connectors are in. Do not have an air box on here yet. I'm not worried about it sucking in any dirt sitting in here in the garage. We are going to fire this thing up and see if we can hook up the laptop with the Vita software and the Mongoose cable, and hopefully it allows me to calibrate the new throttle body, and we're good to go. I can reconnect everything else, and we will worry about this needs to be replaced. I'll worry about it after I get that to calibrate. I don't want to do 2 at the same time. 1 at a time. All right, YouTube, here's what I got on Vita through the Mongoose cable. I am in the advanced functions. I'm inside, it was inside the communications tab, advanced on the adapting the throttle body. Here's the instructions. It's kind of cryptic. Here's what I get when I clicked on the ECM and I've down, it says it's done when adaptation of the throttle unit says okay and it is no longer running. But I've never seen it say not okay and running. Yes, I've never seen that. So that's kind of interesting. Not sure if this actually did it or not. But as you can hear, seems to be running just fine. So I'm not sure what's going on. We will let this car battery charge up a little bit because it is it needs some charge definitely, and then we'll check this thing and see if it starts back up. All right, YouTube, it's 30 degrees now. Cold cranking this thing has done a number on the battery going through the cycle of the adaptation process in Vita. So I've got it charging back up again. We had it at about 85, 89% when I started. It lost and it's barely turning over with the cold, very cold engine. So we're going to let that charge up. I'm going to put the air box back in. I did install, because this is running and it was revving up just fine. You saw that in the video. Not 100% sure it did the adaptation, but I can always redo it. It seems to be running fine, just it's having a hard time turning over cold. Let it charge up. As I mentioned, I did replace the mass airflow sensor, and how I got it to finally release is I took the purple hairdryer, stole that out of the bathroom, and just put some hot air on this, just enough to get it to be somewhat more pliable, and then had to heat it up just a little bit again, and just a little bit of edging of Armor All around the edge of it, and it got to pop in there. It is tight. It is tight. You can spin it, but barely. So got a new, that's the Bosch unit, who makes the other one for Volvo. So that one is in there now. I'm going to put the air box back in. I'm going to connect this. Going to take it for a test drive because it's still, what, 30 degrees outside and not snowing yet. So my opportunity to get this done is today, not tomorrow. Don't know if anybody caught it, but not my brightest moment. This hose right here. It's this one, and it runs around the back of here. It's supposed to be on top of this tube and running through this little spot right there. Supposed to come through here, over the top of that. And right now it's in the way. So I'm going to disconnect it right here, I believe. And then I can rerun it around the back, around the top, right here, coming up through there. Connect it. And then this will be able to go in. And just like that, airbox is all back on. We got the new mass airflow meter sensor is in there. It's connected. Ooh, I got to do this. I got to do one hose clamp. I can't imagine it's ever going to blow off because it's not under pressure. I'm reaching back in there. The thing slipped back. So we'll put that back on there. Tighten that one up. That's so hard to get off. I can't imagine it's ever going to blow off and it's just sucking air. It's not under load until it comes back out of here. Because this is just sucking air into the turbo and then compressing air. This is under pressure. This is not. So I can't imagine this ever comes off, but we'll tighten that up. All I need now is 2 to 3 weeks. I should have the new manifold air pressure sensor. I'll have that new sensor. We'll replace that one. It should arrive here soon. We got the throttle body's on there. I believe that it is calibrated, but whatever, we'll make sure of that. I'll do it again. I'll watch some videos. This is connected. I'm going to reconnect the bottom splash pan. It's still up in the air a little bit. I got 2 bolts I pulled out of that splash pan to be able to get the bolts out. Wheels are barely off the ground. We're going to drop it. I'm going to take it for a drive. We'll see what it's up to. Might be losing my battery. It's up to 99%, but man, was it having a hard time turning this car over. All right, we will see what happens. YouTube, I took it on a little Italian tune-up. I haven't reset the clock yet, but there we go. About 4,500 RPM, comes down nice and smooth, doesn't search for an idle, just goes right into it. Do you notice right there that says 10 degrees Fahrenheit? Yeah, we've dropped 20 degrees in an hour. And out there, do you see it in my headlights? You see that? Yeah, snowpocalypse. So it's up to temp. It's driving great. It started right up once it fully charged on the charger in the garage. So I'm going to go plug it back in. We'll let it sit overnight. I'll do a little bit more research, but I think she's good to go. All right, YouTube, stay safe out there. Thank you for following along on this one as I learn what the heck I'm doing still with the Vita and making it all work. Hopefully you enjoy these videos. If you do, please subscribe. I think we hit 122 last I checked. It's going up like, I don't know, a couple a day. So enjoy out there, YouTube. I'm going to go home, get inside before this snowpocalypse hits, and I don't have to drive anywhere. Be safe.